Hi, my name is Reeve Basom, and I'm making this video for you today from my home in Craftsbury, Vermont. And I have to admit that this is my second attempt at making this video. The first one I made was much too long, but I do want to take a minute at the start just to say that we've all been living through a lot of crazy, unprecedented times with this pandemic, and I just want you to know that I'm thinking of you, and I hope you're doing okay, and I hope you're taking good care of each other. So I'm here today to share with you about my job as the place-based education coordinator for the Center for an Agricultural Economy. That's a mouthful, so I'll try to unpack that a bit for you. And I will share my screen so that you can see some. So the Center for an Agricultural Economy is a food systems nonprofit in Hardwick, Vermont. And we have a variety of programs that focus on supporting farmers and food business entrepreneurs and our community, all in an effort to build a strong, regenerative local food system. This is a photo of a mural that we have in our office that depicts all the different, or many of the different aspects of a food system, including the ones that you may or may not actually see on a daily basis. And it just helps visualize the interconnectedness and the cycles that are at play in getting food from farms to our plates. So one of the main things about the Center for an Agricultural Economy is that we run the Vermont Food Venture Center, which is a big facility with shared use kitchens where lots of different things happen to process food. We work with small food business entrepreneurs and farmers, and we also help, in addition to helping produce and process food, we also have a delivery service to help transfer food. And then we also have a whole set of community programs, which includes a big piece of property in town where we manage a community garden and a community orchard. There's also a farmer's market that takes place in that space. We're also active in a bunch of different projects around food access and equity, and are partnered with other folks in those efforts, including our local food pantry. And then finally, we also partner with our local school system to work on making learning more community connected and more place-based. And that's my focus. My role is as the place-based education coordinator, working in partnership with the teachers and administrators and students and community partners and families in our local school system. So there's a lot of different things that are part of my work, and in the years that I've had this job, the work has continued to change and grow, and it's been fun to kind of create my own job as I go. The things I'll share with you today are just some of the many pieces of my job. So this first picture is of some students on a farm field trip, which is something that I help to support. I also help support projects where students can engage with food in the course of their learning experience. So these are some examples of kids doing cooking projects in school. I also work with food service professionals in schools to support bringing more local ingredients into the meals program and helping make sure that the meals are healthy and that as many people as possible have access to them. I also support school community events like this awesome harvest dinner, where the meal was prepared by students and was offered for free to the entire community. And I also help support both school and community gardens. As you can see, this is definitely something that I find includes a lot of joy for kids getting to work out in their school gardens. And I also help build partnerships between schools and community members. The value of the mentorship and expertise and knowledge that exists out in the community is really important for schools to be able to connect to. So I really love helping teachers and students get connected to the awesome resources in the community as a regular part of their learning. I also get to help teachers learn more about ways of teaching outside and teaching about farming and food. And that's another really fun part of my job. And then I also work on helping hold space for youth to take leadership and for youth voice to be integrated into decision-making processes that are happening in schools and in the community. And that's another piece of my work that I care a lot about. Oops. That was the last slide I will share with you for now. I can tell you a little bit about my educational background. I went through the public school system here in the Northeast Kingdom and then went away to college and got a bachelor's degree. I also spent some time working as an outdoor educator and as well as working on a few farms. And then I went back to school to study education and get my elementary teaching certification, which allowed me to be a classroom teacher for about 6 years in Vermont public schools. And from there, I took this job with a nonprofit that allowed me to stay connected with the education system, but from a different angle. And one of the things I really love about this job is how much I get to collaborate and work creatively with other people. I also really love working with youth, and especially as partners. So not just as an instructor, but as an adult partnering with youth around activities and projects that are meaningful to them. I just realized I can stop sharing my screen. Come back to okay. So one of the things that's most challenging about this job, I'm actually thinking about the immediate challenge of there being so much that's unknown about how we will move forward through this pandemic, what school will look like. And at the same time that that's a huge puzzle, it's also presenting some really cool opportunities for doing things differently. So as is often the case, the challenge is also the source of some really important opportunity, and I'm looking forward to supporting changes in education that get kids outside more and more connected to their community in response to the situation that we're in with this pandemic. I think that this work requires a lot of listening, a love of learning, ongoing listening and learning. Like I said before, a love of collaboration, and a real focus on relationship building. It also requires that I believe in the wisdom of youth and the importance of incorporating young people in decision making that affects them and their community. It's also important in this work to have a strong appreciation of the interdependence of people with each other and with the natural world. There are all kinds of things that you could do if you're interested in pursuing a career in food systems or in education or some combination of the two. You could get involved with a local farm or a community garden or food pantry. You could find out through school what opportunities for internships or job shadows or work-based learning are available to you that would be connected to food systems or education. You could attend youth leadership conferences or get involved in youth activism. And as far as training goes, I just think it's interesting to note that my journey to this particular organization is really different from a lot of my colleagues. And so I think that just points to how many different ways you might be able to travel to get to a place where you have really fulfilling work. So I just thought it would be interesting to share with you that in addition to my background in teaching, I have colleagues who come from backgrounds that include having gone to culinary school, having studied journalism, majoring in political science. I have colleagues with backgrounds in wellness and alternative medicine, backgrounds in soil science, in community development and social change, and also farming. So there's a lot of different routes to take to engage in food systems. And there are all kinds of things you can do now to start exploring. Check out your tech center for ag programs. Check out the 4-H program. Visit colleges with farms on campus or with food systems majors. And also maybe we can talk some more when the live Q&A session happens. So I look forward to seeing some of you then. And thanks so much for taking a few minutes to watch this.